Well, hello everyone and welcome to On the Bid with me, Oriel Morrison. Very excited for our first show here on Stockhead today. And to kick things off with a bang, we're going to be talking all things cryptocurrencies. I'm sure you've heard lots of people, even in the supermarket, discussing where cryptocurrencies are going to from here. Now, if you're watching the market yourselves, you'll know that we've seen significant rallies over the course of the year to date. So Bitcoin's up around about 84% or so as of the time of recording today. Ether surging around 470%, and Dogecoin, which was of course initially started as a joke, skyrocketing an astounding 8,200% again at the time of recording today. If you looked a week or so ago, it was up by 14,000%. So within this market, there's clearly huge amounts of volatility. A lot of that is caused by Elon Musk from Tesla, as you know, again, if you're watching this market. So let's bring in our guest today. I'm lucky enough to have with me Ting Wang. Now, Ting is the co-founder of Coinstash, knows a huge amount about cryptocurrencies on a very personal and professional level. Ting, welcome to the program. Welcome to On the Bid. Thanks so much for having the time to spend with us today. I just talked about these massive swings that we have seen over the past few years in the cryptocurrency market, and we're seeing another massive swing as we speak today. When you see this kind of volatility, does this erode trust for people that do want to invest in cryptocurrencies?
I guess the answer for me is yes and no, right? So to me, volatility can be both ways. So obviously, we've seen a lot of volatility since the middle of 2020, which is last year. And then that volatility actually brought in a lot of additional interest, not just from retail investors, but also from institutions like people like big names like Tesla, PayPal, MasterCard. A lot of people are trying to get involved with crypto on the back of this volatility. So obviously, it's not just a one-way street with some ups, there's some downs. But I think over time, because I've been in the industry for more than 4 years now, so we've seen this cycle already back in 2017, and we're seeing this super cycle right now. So with this volatility, I actually think as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies mature, we're going to see less volatility, hopefully going forward, and with that more institutional involvement, and with that more confidence in the industry.
You know, I mentioned Elon Musk before. Of course, when he announced and tweeted out that he was buying significant amounts of Bitcoin, the price, as you would expect, went up rather rapidly. He's now talking about the fact that Tesla will no longer accept Bitcoin as a payment because of one of the big concerns about Bitcoin and other certain cryptocurrencies as well, and that is environmental concerns. And of course, the impact of mining some of these cryptocurrencies. What is the future of that? Because everybody that's involved in this market is now on tenterhooks to find out what cryptocurrency Elon Musk is going to turn his attention to and turn his focus to because of those environmental concerns. I mean, how big a deal is this, do you think, going forward?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, I guess, the major coins, right, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple, not every single coin is based on what we call a proof of work mechanism. So Bitcoin obviously is still on the proof of work mechanism, which consumes enormous amounts of electricity. But if you look at some of the other coins like Ethereum, which is moving away from the proof of work into more of a proof of stake concept, and you look at some of the other mainstream cryptocurrencies, they're not necessarily all very energy intensive. So I think Elon does have a very good point there, which is try to minimize, I guess, the energy consumption as much as we can. But I think as an industry as a whole, we are getting better and we're moving away from that consumption. So that's always good to hear.
So one other point that before we move on from Elon Musk that I'd like to make is that he has said in the past that cryptocurrencies has a good chance of becoming the future currency of the earth. That's a massive statement. Of course, we're starting to see some of the big banks really get involved. Goldman Sachs just announcing that they are opening a crypto trading desk of some form. Citibank's been talking about it. Morgan Stanley's in it. Is there a chance, do you believe, that cryptocurrencies could become the future currency of the earth?
I think that's a very good question, and I think I agree with you right now. That seems like a very bold claim to make. So I do get asked a lot of times, can Bitcoin really replace the dollar? I think there are some arguments for it and some arguments against it. So obviously, the arguments for Bitcoin is it's perceived as more efficient, it's decentralized, it has a limited supply. So contrary to the US dollars, which has almost an infinite supply, Bitcoin has an upper limit of 21 million coins. So these three key, key concepts around cryptocurrency makes it stand out like more than any other fiat currency. But I think there's still a lot of work to do for cryptocurrency to replace the dollar. So obviously, we know the US dollar is still the key instrument in international settlement, in international trade. We know that obviously the recent increase in the Bitcoin price is somehow back on the recent decline of the dollar. So if you look at the current financial system, in every financial crisis, like back in the 1997 Asian financial crisis, and then you look at the 2008 global GFC, and then you look at the most recent pandemic, like in crisis times, people still turn to the dollar. So I think the dollar is still quite important, but obviously cryptocurrency is playing, has its own set of advantages. So my view is that in the future, I think cryptocurrency will coexist with the dollar. One key advantage of cryptocurrency, it has a lot of financial inclusion. So it removes the border friction. Say if I want to send money from here to Japan, if I want to send money from here to the States, using cryptocurrency as a medium, I think that's a very powerful tool. And I think in the future, we may even see Bitcoin as a global reserve currency.
When we're talking about making it a global reserve currency, and then you've got people like the Bank of England governor who just spoke out a few days or so ago, Andrew Bailey, and he basically warned any kind of crypto investors to be prepared to lose all of their money. And his reason for that is that it has no intrinsic value. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I think the intrinsic value of cryptocurrency has been debated over nearly the past decade now. So to me, if you just take Bitcoin as an example, I think there are actually two intrinsic values that it has. One is as a medium of exchange, which I briefly mentioned before. So if I'm to send money from here to another country, like right now, if I do it via wire transfer, it's going to be expensive, it's going to be slow, and it's going to involve 2 or 3 intermediaries in the middle. So to me, Bitcoin does have its use cases. Another value of Bitcoin is basically is one of the best alternatives we have to the dollar, right? So a lot of people are seeing that as a store of value. So the reason that Bitcoin has shot up by, I think, nearly 600% over the past 12 months is also because due to the pandemic, people no longer have less faith in the US dollars and less faith in other fiat currencies, simply because the monetary easing policies are quite enormous. So we've seen we've seen President Biden printing, I think, 1.7 trillion stimulus package, and then we don't see a stop to that anytime soon. So people are really taking this chance to use cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, and we're not just talking about retail investors, we're talking about big names like Tesla to put their wealth towards.
You live and breathe this stuff, Ting Wang, and you have for some time now. You must field questions every day about cryptocurrencies in a general sense, and within your business, of course, as well. But what is the most asked question that you get about cryptocurrencies?
I think the most asked question I get is, what cryptocurrency should I invest in? So I think that's
Good question.
It's not just from my friends, family, it's also from our customers. People keep asking us, what should I buy? So, I mean, without giving too much financial advice, I mean, I personally is a big believer in some of I still strongly believe in Bitcoin, and I strongly believe in dollar cost averaging. So basically what that means is you want to set aside a small amount of your income and then just continuously buying the mainstream cryptocurrencies. And that takes away the emotions, that takes away the timing factor, because you are putting down a little bit of money every week or every month. And then that has paid off for myself enormously over the past few years. So I can't tell you what's the best cryptocurrency right now, but I do believe that Bitcoin still has a long way to go.
So what's your view right now on all these doggy-based coins? I mean, obviously Dogecoin is the first one that comes to mind. It originally, of course, created as a joke, seeing these massive gains over the past few months. But now there's a raft of other dog-themed coins that are out there. Shiba Inu is one that's quite well known now. There's the Husky token. There's a Solana Akita. There's a Moonpaw. What's your view on this type of coin?
Yeah, I don't want to sound, I guess, too pessimistic, but I think with Dogecoin, obviously it started as a bit of an internet meme, like or a fad, and then I think initially it was used to on forums to reward other contributors. So it wasn't in the beginning, it wasn't seen as a serious currency. Obviously, since the beginning of this year, with Elon Musk's involvement, everything started to change, and I think it was good to a certain point. And then you see a lot of people are riding on this speculative behavior. So people are just putting their money into Dogecoin, and then we're seeing, I think Shiba is now the number 18th highest ranked coins now, and then on the back of that, you have all these other dog-related coins, and every single one of them, I think, in the past couple of days have gone up by 2,000%. So I think there's definitely a level of speculation right there. But on the other hand, I guess volatility is what we expect in the cryptocurrency industry. I just want to let everyone know that when you invest in this type of coins, obviously you got to be aware of the risks that's involved. I also understand that with this type of coins, I think there are certain barrier to entry as well. So they're not typically found on every single exchange. So liquidity is always an issue. So just be very careful about that.
I think that's a very pertinent warning, Ting. So thank you so much for that. Let's talk a little bit about you and what you're doing over at Coinstash. Obviously, you're the co-founder of Coinstash, and you've just come out of a very successful crowdfunding capital raise. You just raised almost $3 million. What are you going to be doing with those funds?
Yeah, so I think we have been very fortunate. It's a very humbling experience for myself and the rest of the team to be able to do this multi-dollar equity crowdfunding raise. And I think we're one of the first crypto platforms in Australia to do so. So with the raise, what we're actually planning to do is we have some exciting plans to improve the usability of cryptocurrency. So what I mean by that is, so right now people typically trade cryptocurrency with Australian dollars, US dollars, or they swap one cryptocurrency for another. So the products we're actually looking to release with this round of funding is Coinstash Earn, Coinstash Borrow, and Coinstash Spend. So in a nutshell, what this will allow people to do is to earn a rate of return on their cryptocurrency, to be able to borrow money using their cryptocurrency as collateral. And in the future, we're looking to even release a Coinstash credit card. So imagine you having a Coinstash credit card, you have a cryptocurrency balance, and then on that balance, you can earn an interest, and then you can spend this amount anywhere in the world with the Coinstash card. So I think with these three new products, as well as our current trading platform, it's going to be almost an all-in-one platform where people can turn to put their cryptocurrency to use.
Well, let's talk about Earn for a moment. How does that work, Ting, when you're talking about earning a rate of return on your cryptocurrencies? Because where would those particular cryptocurrencies be held? I mean, with all of the security concerns, when it comes to exchanges and security breaches on some of those exchanges out there in the world, if you were to say, well, you can put your cryptos with us and earn a rate of return, would there be a higher risk involved?
I think there would be there would be a risk involved, but it wouldn't be a uncalculated risk. So what we actually do is at Coinstash, we do our due diligence very carefully. We only work with the very reputable, the very top exchanges. On top of that, we're also looking to implement insurance. We're looking to implement also a Coinstash fund where we are going to set aside a certain amount of reserves to cover any incidentals. So with all these measures in place, so customers, when they put the cryptocurrency with us, there's a few ways that we can generate a rate of return with that cryptocurrency. One of the ways is through margin lending. So we do know that when they have leveraged positions in their trading positions, they need to borrow cryptocurrency, and that's 100% collateralized. So basically, you can only borrow to a certain loan-to-value ratio. So we do have a lot of measures in place to make sure our customers' funds are safe. But on the other hand, the customers, they also need to be aware that if they want to earn a rate of interest with their cryptocurrency, then obviously there's a certain degree of risk as well.
Okay. What are the chances, do you think? I mean, these are some fairly interesting and forward-thinking plans. What are the chances of the regulators in Australia actually approving that? Because there is a train of thought here that, within our local sector, that regulators are very much still playing catch-up.
Yes, and I think I somewhat agree with that train of thought. But at Coinstash, we have started conversations with ASIC already. So we're actually in talks with the innovation hub of ASIC. To date, we find our experience to be quite pleasant. So they have been very supportive. Obviously, the cryptocurrency products are still somewhat novel to the regulators. And I also understand the cryptocurrency industry is not the only industry they deal with. But I think going forward, if you look at the current landscape, our value proposition here is we want to be the first Australian platform to be able to offer a solution, this type of solution to Australian customers. So right now you are seeing a number of global players who are also operating in Australia, but they're not necessarily based in Australia, nor are they, or they might not even be regulated here in Australia. So I think we're giving the regulators a very compelling story, which is we're Australian based, our platform is designed for Australian customers, and we want to comply with the Australian regulations. So I think this is almost providing a safety ground for Australian customers to be able to participate rather than driving them towards some of the bigger but international players.
You know, we've just had a big listing, of course, in the US. Where do you stand on that front, on putting Coinstash on the publicly traded market?
Yeah, so I think, just as we are wrapping up our equity crowdfund, there is obviously the news of Coinbase getting listed in the US came out. I think they did extremely well, at least I think during the first day. Not too sure where the share price is at right now, but that's definitely a huge boost to the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. In terms of where Coinstash is seated, so right now my focus is building a successful business. That's always my top priority. In terms of potentially getting us listed later down the track on the AXS or a international stock exchange, that is a possibility. But I really want to focus on building our product, building our brand, and do a very good job for Australian customers and making our name known to many more Australians. I think right now that's the top priority. In terms of our exit strategy, I think it can be a trade sale, it can be a listing, or it can even be something like Coinbase, like listing overseas on the US stock exchange. So those are all possibilities, but right now my focus is building a strong business.
We are certainly going to be watching you and your business partner, of course, very, very closely, Ting Wang. We are out of time today, but we really do appreciate you coming and chatting to us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you to all of our viewers for watching On the Bid with me, Oriel Morrison. We'll see you next week with another episode of On the Bid. Thank you again.